deeply into that shit. And I could get so deep, like in a barbershop. They'll tap me, it's my turn. I can't just get up and turn. I'm literally sleeping. I would experience paralysis. So that same paralysis that people complain about, I could go that deep and be aware where I would literally have sleep paralysis if I tried to move. So I know how to consciously call myself back, wait for my spirit to get, because your spirit is what animates you. You're still alive because it's cut to the core, but it's actually in the astral world.
So what do you recommend when you have the sleep paralysis? Like for people, just
try not to get up. Just if you're aware enough, lay your ass there, because it's going to be struggling. What happens is you come back into awareness in layers. So your consciousness comes back before everything comes back. So you're up and aware, and then you try to do what you do, but you're not totally back yet. And you can't move because your spirit is what animates you. So when you die, your spirit leaves and it lives in the astral world. It can come to earth, that because it's the same thing. The astral world is more etheric, but earth is more material. So that's why we can call spirits, give shit to spirits, physical things. We're in a symbiont relationship. This is not really your true high self. It is what the creator made to actually fool you. It's the dream world. When you check out the Gnostic shit, they'll tell you that the creator that they're calling God, like I said, it depends on what God that dude is talking about. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's an evil lesson. Like in Gnostic thought, there's the one true God. And he created 8 deities under him. Loose to run through the story real quick. The lowest deity was the Great Mother, Sophia. So the Great Mother Sophia couldn't see above her. And ego took a play. So she had a baby without the Holy Divine Spirit, recognized it, threw it in the abyss, Yaldabaoth. And of course, he seen what was happening, as the mythology goes. He seen what was happening above his head, recreated it his best he could. For the firmament to rest his feet, he created earth, and to rest his head, he created the astral world. So what they're saying, where he controls your dreams, this creator that everyone's given, he needs this to unfold and look at himself and all that bullshit shit. In a way, that's true, but they're still attributing it to someone outside of you. You came here to do that for you. And we don't want to take, it's everything not to take responsibility. I'm doing this for somebody. I'm on a mission. Wait a minute. So this creator God sent you down here, GMO food? When are we going to say, what if this is a fucking prison and what we teach is the escape path? What point do we accept that shit? We look for everything to say there's somebody running the show that knows more than us. We don't trust it. We don't trust in our divine mind. The fucking mind is all. Show me in the laws of Tahuti where they said, well, we just working something out for God. When did it show me the Egyptian text that says that? Because we have to go to that because that's most of the writing. But I don't know. I don't remember the Sumerian text saying that. Show me in the ancient text. That's later day shit. And I get the concept. You'll see that in Cabala more than anything. That's a Kabbalistic thing. But the Cabala is talking about the creator. Because the creator of the trees, or the understanding of the trees, let's say that, the creator of the front tree, the tree of life, where the Sephiroths hang as fruit, is by the demiurge and the creator God. Behind that tree that pushes it forth is the Kalipoth. And that's the true tree that pushes light out of darkness. Out of darkness comes light. One of the first things Bobby Hemmett told me before I started speaking This ain't about no dark side shit. I've never come out going dark side, nigga, dark side. That became a religion. I helped to stop that shit because it's out of darkness comes light. The darkness is that ignorance in you, and it must become the light side. I am a light nigga. You know what I'm saying? A nigga of light. And I'm willing to go into darkness to get it because that's where it exists. That's the alchemy. You don't get light from light. You get light from darkness. So why all the Baphomet and the Satan? Because that's the sciences of the darkness. That's the negative polarity that brings you to the other side of that coin. Positive polarity, Christ. You can't become the Christ until you become the devil, and they're the same thing. And not only that, Brother Phil just got finished explaining that on the last show, the bright morning sun. So if you understand, it's not dark versus light. Dark, just like hot and cold, as I pointed out in the psychomancy, is one thing. It's called temperature. And dark and light is one thing. It's called temperature. Right, it's light. Or light. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can look at this. Well, black and white, or dark in illumination, if you want to say. And Brother Phil Valentine pointed out something a long time ago, and niggas should have blew a louder horn to this one statement. You know, Phil, well, beloved, he said, if you're in a room of all white light, you can't see shit either. The end. We tend to think in a room of darkness, that's our problem. But it's the contrast between the two. Right. That makes you see. So darkness or light is not a choice. The alchemy is understanding how they mix. In my whole book, I told you how to mix the angels with the Goetia. That's the missing piece. And that's backed up by a white boy who got one of them OTOs for years, named Poke Runyon, which y'all can search on YouTube, where he's like, I'm tired of all the bullshit. I'm gonna give y'all secrets. He was showing all the white chambers in their white robes. But one of the things he said, the key is, he was saying basic shit like, y'all calling spirits and banishing them. Why would you do that after all of that work? He said, if you think you fucking with with the Goetia and you drawing a circle and they staying in it, you a fucking fool. Like, there's motherfuckers who just get it, even some white boys. There's something in you that can see through all the writing, all this philosophy. You got to follow it out. We're doing this for God. So when did you sign up for that? Like, what do you get out of it? After it's all done, where you go? You understand what I'm saying? Like, it just makes more sense when you study all the ancient shit. It's on you. There's no, tell me what you seen in the Matrix that they said we doing this for somebody else. Everything was trying to get Neo to realize what was within. That's what consciousness is. When they say that shit, they make a philosophy, and it's a left-handed way to get you to believe that somebody lords over you still, put you down here, and making you do. You don't even know why you rich merit if you take that thing. Why are you that guy? Why am I this guy? You know what I'm saying? Why am I panicked? So he could see where we gonna kick it once I die. Yeah, boy, Jesus. Man, you had me in some shit. But let me tell you what happened. You know what I'm saying? He can come down like I thought he was God. What happened to that? Where's that philosophy? The know-it-all.
You know, Panic. One thing you said a little while ago, you said my light. You talked about your light being on, and you talked about your stepmother coming to visit you. Right. I want to ask a lot of the powerful people in this world, when they were children, they went through horrific things, molestation, abuse. Let's just use Michael Jackson as an example. Okay. Do you think that the people who have the brightest light have the toughest childhoods because entities could see their light? So they're like, oh shit, that motherfucker down there. Oh, I'm going to get this nigga Panic or this nigga Rich. Oh, let's find a way to attach on to his light because this nigga is bright. Does it work like that between the different realms?
Good fucking question, Rich. Your ass is at it. Best at it. Best to ever do this shit. That's the only interview I do with you because you ask shit that's worth a dime.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Out here. Let me tell you. I notice half and half because there's entities that are if you are doing conscious work, it's not like they seen you go, yay, Rich, go. I'm on your side, buddy. What they see is you're lining up with a frequency. So they're kind of with you. You understand what I'm saying? For instance, if you wore a bow tie and a suit before you said anything, look at that Muslim nigga. Especially you got papers in your hand. You line up with an energy and there's a spirit around you. He's a Moor. He's a Muslim. If we sat in the back of a lecture, every nigga that walked in, Moor, Muslim, Moor, Nubian, we would just be able to name them based upon the energy around. So you line up with certain energy. The more spiritual work you do, you line up with a certain energy. But now here's this. You also line up with a certain humanity. And the more human you are, there's energy around you that seeks to keep you human because it feeds off of it. So in other words, if you got a chick in the house, you a bad guy or a pimp, and you got a chick in the house, you're going to tell her and do anything to her and show her anything to keep her staying on the street.
Right.
And then there's her mother who's going to knock on the door like R. Kelly, do. Let her out, you know what I'm saying? Instead of going in there and knocking it down. That's an energy that wants to stop it. So there's always this duality energy around you. And your thoughts pull whatever's going to show up. Now, your thoughts, you also, like Michael Jackson, make a choice to get with Joe. Because you may know beforehand, I was talking today about this with B.O.B. There's an intelligence that we deal with before we even get here. That says, okay, I'm going to go down there and be rich. I'm going to choose this as my mother. We're not dealing with time. We know she's going to pass at the age.
Right.
We know she's going to write her book. What's the name of the book again?
Kayla Petey in the Forest.
Kayla Petey in the Forest.
Yeah.
Kayla Petey in the Forest.
Yes.
So you've seen all of this, and you know you needed her and your sister in your situation to become rich. Michael Jackson know he needed Joe to become Mike.
Yeah.
So he chose him as such. So much so Joe said, well, if I beat him, I beat his ass rich. Joe would say that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Now, I do know this, and Tina Turner said it. She embellished. You gotta be real. Each time Mike got into trouble, look at my childhood. You know what I'm saying? I don't think with the boys, just any other Elephant Man Bone trouble. I think all of that was a lie. You know what I'm saying? But so I know it sells too. Because when I used to do that shit, I wasn't beating Tina. But you think that's what an abuser says. Then later Tina came out and said we was fighting each other. It wasn't so much one-handed. She said she came out and said it.
Right.
But she sold that Tina book and restarted her career as, what's love got to do? That corny shit got to do with it. And it really started her shit again, saying how much she overcome with Ike. And Ike is baffled. Like, you would see him in the news, like, what's she talking about? But he didn't have that pizzazz to finesse it. But also know that Ike was a bad motherfucker. Let's just say this real quick. Ike Turner, the three kings that changed the game. Ike Turner, Little Richard, and Chuck, the guitar nigga.
Chuck Berry. Yeah.
Those were considered the three kings. But Ike was vocal. Ike wasn't that nigga. they were trying to bring the white boys into the game, especially from Europe. Eric Clapton and the motherfuckers trying to make them blues kings. And then when they brought the Beatles over, they showed in the movie a little bit, but Ike would go in it. That ain't nothing but nigga music slowing down.
Facts.
No, that ain't nothing. This he's getting at them.
Yeah.
So they got right back at him. So he got a big rep, and things ain't always like they seem. The same thing with Chris Brown. They tried to make him the new Ike Turner, but too much of that story came out where he was actually the one getting his ass kicked. He's the one who she had bite marks, and people were saying, well, she had bite marks. That's defensive shit. Like he's trying to defend himself. He's getting fucked up. So people looked at it different, and he's still existing because they couldn't Ike Turner him. But it needs to be looked at again. So he was a bad motherfucker. I always say that when I get the opportunity.
Right.
So Mike had to be Mike. I went through a lot of abuse, a lot of neglect, a lot of hardship, but I know I wouldn't be panicked without going through it.
Right.
So then see, that's where it comes down to, like, if I am who I say I am and doing what I'm doing, I don't feel I have the right or just, it's not in my thought I'm here because somebody put me here to learn itself. Yes, me. I put me here to learn itself. I'm God. And at the very least, if you can't see yourself like that, your soul, like Odo, Deep Space Nine, connects to that big pool. So, and he would connect with that big pool, download his information, and download information from that pool. When he got out, he knew who he was. He was the man. He found his people, and they were a collective entity that ran the universe. And all it was a big ass lake of knowledge all around the universe. And all they did was send pieces of themselves out. Familiar? Some of us make it back. Some of us take longer times. The conscious ones are the ones next up on the ship. The mothership is coming to pick us up. Consciousness is the beginning of being done with this place. Knowledge, I'm so used to saying consciousness, but knowledge of self is actually how you get out of here. Those dedicated to studying, those dedicated to understanding, especially those abuses, to be able to forgive, release, find compassion. I had to find compassion for my mother. I did that by first looking at her age. She was 18 when she had me. So I started to say, she was 18 when she had me. So I started to say, look at my son, how stupid he is. So it gave me compassion. Then my father was 23. These were kids. So it started the pathway of forgiveness and compassion. So once I had started really finding compassion and work with that, and they're only human. They don't lord over this. They did the best they could, blah, 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 blah. The little basics you start finding forgiveness and then finding healing. That's all in chakra work. And it's all in the heart chakra work. And those are all the attributes you notice of Jesus. Jesus is nothing more than the heart chakra gateway to become the Christ. Right. So healing, compassion, and forgiveness. That's all his attributes that they made a man, but it's actually the attributes of the work that you need to do on the lower chakras in terms of releasing them. It's more detailed, but that's a basic overall of starting the pathway to forgiving those who you think abuse you. Everything is a mommy issue. When you came here and there was no real ego, you was at your basic, just crying to eat and in pain and discomfort. You didn't know how to express what you wanted yet. So, and you don't know what pain or hurt is. That's why they have to watch the baby or walk into anything, touch anything, put anything in their mouth, because your ego tells you no, it'll kill you. They don't have that yet. So the mother, no, don't do that. Stop, sit up, stop. No, sit up, cross your legs. Don't do that. What you say thank you, say thank you, say thank you, blah, blah, blah. This is programming. This is repetitious programming. So the mother as y'all go through life and the flaws, all the shit you think the kid didn't see, and they eventually grow up, and then it'd be shit you thought was the greatest greatness, and they'd be like, "But you fucked me up with that one, nigga. I thought that was the best move ever." You just never know what's in their head. So it almost seems like they need to see something fucked up to exist. They need something to overcome. Like my boys needed to be mad at us to finally get out, and I think it's final. To finally get out, they can't just do it. They have to be mad at us so they can show us something. They need something to get there. And everyone needs something to get there. That's what the abuse is. I think that's the nature of this place. Everyone in some sort of way is being, and then let's say your mom was the greatest, I'm sure your job, somebody. And if you're having a great life, Brother Phil already told you again, agitation is missing. You'll be back, son.
Shit, man. Damn. So with you talked about the astral realm, right? Let me bring up a personal example to make it more real. Get your opinion on it. So when my mother was in the hospital, like before she passed away, she had kidney failure. So she was on dialysis. So there was times when, you know, she was fucked up bad. She had to go to the hospital, stay there a couple of nights. Right. There was one time she was messed up real bad, and she was like, I think she was in like a coma. I'm not sure. She was asleep or something. And she told me when she woke up, she told me, she was like, yo, Rich, I seen your father. She was like, man, that nigga had the nerve to tell me, her nickname was G. So she was like, he told me, G, come with me, come with me. So she was like, nigga, I got these kids to take care of. I ain't coming with you, nigga. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, when she said, man, get the fuck out of here. I'm going with these kids. That's when she woke up. She was like, she immediately woke up. Right. So would that be, using that as a personal example, would that be an example of the astral world?
Absolutely, because that's her first stop.
Right.
I could tell you two things about that. I had a boy KL. He was in a rap group called Screwball. He passed from complications of asthma. He had real bad asthma, and finally caught up with him. I think he made 40 something. And he was a business dude. Since he did have records out, Marley Marl did his eulogy. Premier Pete Rock worked with them, so they were there to see him off. And Marley said, I've been doing this shit for more years than a lot of y'all been alive. And KL would still come to me with angles. This cat had angles up the ass. In fact, me and him got closer. We knew each other since we was little. I know his cousin, Poet. We got closer because I started selling porn and I was killing him. And one day I seen him. I said, sometimes I need help dropping it off at mailboxes. So he said, I'll get you. I called him one day. We filled up his car to capacity. The whole inside was filled with video boxes. Bags, and we holding them over. I just remember that nigga said, all of that is $10? I was like, yeah, some 20, some double, some killing them. 25 G's a month, killing them. Filling up all the mailboxes all the way down to the hood. He just loved that shit, the hustle. He passes in dramatic form. But long story short, I said, I'm going to get him through the astral world. There was another guy who died. Their name of the group was Screwball. The guy who died, his street name was Screwball. They dedicated the group to him. Lou came through, said, get him to me. Never did anything like that before, but wasn't scared about it. So went into the meditation, was going harder, deeper. You see yourself going deeper in darkness, which means you're getting away from this light. And so I could feel I was in that zone, in that place. So this is where imagination and visualization comes in. You want to stop and try to experience it like with your five senses. You're breathing in this dark space. You're moving around. You're looking. You're there. Just by looking around like you just arrived, tricks your subconscious mind into believing you're there.
Right.
That's what you do every time you walk into a new room. You look around.
Look around.
You do the same thing. You're looking with your third eye. So you do the things that your mind repetitiously does ever since you existed almost. Look around, smell, say hi to niggas. What's up, nigga? What's up, yeah, nigga? Like you just walked into a room. So you know you're in that room, and subconsciously you're tricking your mind into believing you're in that room. Now, 5 senses are your tools now. In cyclomancy, he shows you how to make your 5 senses 5 super senses. 5 times, used to do the math. I can't remember. It's in my book, how it connects to the 72. And how the 5 connects, the Baphomet connects to the 72. The 5 points of Baphomet are your 5 points. The 5 points of Baphomet is when you created the super senses. So the 5 senses now become spiritual tools. There was chicks that knew, we walk in a room, they smell the spirits. I used to know what offerings to give when I was doing all my tricks and learning this shit. You need to get that nigga some donuts. You need to give him that. So we was fucking with the, you know, there's audio clearance and audio voyance and audio sensory and audio this, the 7 circuits of the brain. So we was pushing to open those, the 5 senses. You can hear the spirits. You hear them talking in your ear, telling you stuff. You could taste like what food they wanted. Like I said, smell what food they wanted, or smell. The Orishas have a funky ass raw chicken smell. So when I smell that, they not. I know y'all think it's love, but y'all been feeding them so much ignorance that they become ignorance. Remember, they're just energy signatures. So if you say they're that, eventually they're going to become that. They're going to serve you as that. So they were never meant for mass consumption. They were meant for the Yoruba people, not for the world. So when the world uses them and uses them the way they use them, yeah, it's real, because you can make anything up and be a spirit. That's what Jesus is. Mm-hmm. Shit, you can worship Harry Potter and get more out of him than Jesus. Jesus was created as a vampire energy to keep you locked down. So you worship that. Even the name God, you know what I'm saying, outside of yourself, it still becomes vampire. You think you're performing for somebody, that you're living up to somebody. It's true in a more metaphysical way. If you apply your divine, remember, the mind is all and the universe is mental. If the mind is all, then that means what's the all? God. Your mind is God. So if you study your mind, that's why they say know thyself. You're studying the universe. The mind is all. The universe is mental. That means to study the entire universe, what must you study? Just your mind.
Just your mind.
I teach in class mind calisthenics. We getting down to it. Your mind is God. It is of its divine birthright. There's nothing outside of you. Nothing in it, around it, or on it that does not belong to you or her. You're God. And that's a cheap name for you. God is just a title, to be quite honest. When you mastered the 7, the number 7, you become God. I became God because God is a creator. I can make anything I want materialize in front of me. Starburst, bing, anything materialize. Physical. It's not even fun to do no more. I don't even do that no more.
You say you live deliciously.
Deliciously. That's old shit I used to say.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's actually old shit I used to say when I was trying to magnetize this, because it was a moment I was saying, yo, y'all niggas ain't got to be poor. You know it, Rich, when you bring me in for New York lectures, the vendors be selling out. My people come with bread because I never told them they have to be poor selling goddamn incense. Like my boy Jeff, the slave, I'm on the plantation. I know, excuse me. I know it's a plantation. I know that shit ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but it's also you have a divine mind. If you got to be there, nigga, make it sensational. If you keep calling it the plantation, then what else can it ever be? He said, yo, I don't even notice the shit no more. He just changed his mind. Don't know. I started talking about that. What was I talking about right before that? It was something good I was going to tell you.
Okay.
Somebody might say it. I'm looking in the chat room.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah,
this might jog in memory. Since we just finished talking about the astral realm, I got a question that's very interesting question. I would say that very interesting. Throughout the years, I've been behind the scenes asking questions for a while.
Right.
Just communicating with the people. I've heard several females say that, hey, so and so tried to have sex with me in the astral realm. What the hell is going on with that? It's because they swear these individuals is contacting them through the astral realm. Talk to me about that, my brother. Talk to me about that.
Okay. Think about this. You'll get it, and this is a little bit more hard of an explanation. Not really, but listen to all the elements, because I realize this, and it may be hard for people. The average person is going to be hard. So there's many different rich personalities. There's angry rich, happy rich, rich that's in this mode right now, that's asking questions, interested. There's rich at a picnic, rich with his baby, rich as a son, rich as a father, rich with his routine, rich at his job, rich fired from his job, rich in White Castles. 1,000 different personalities. Most I'll never meet. So if you're not using those personalities, but they could turn up at any time. Once I seen Rich get mad. Woo! Wait, you don't want to make him mad. In fact, I told B.O.B. that story. He said, Rich? We was at a live lecture and somebody kept fucking with Rich. I was standing right there and Rich had some product. And the dude was like this all touchy and doing all this shit, kind of slapping his shit around or something, and said some funky shit. And we at the lecture, Rich said, "What the fuck did you say?" I said, "Oh shit." He said, "Nah, you talking to the wrong dude." Dude just yielded like he didn't expect it, and that's why he was doing that funky shit.
Right.
And I said, "Oh man," that's when I said, Rich ain't no fucking hotepper. Like there's a limit. And like that, Rich handles himself like a gentleman all the time. I've seen him. And I've seen him many years before there was a YouTube. He's always handled himself like a gentleman. So now, and that's what he presents. But since he has a kid, there's a sexual Rich somewhere. I'll never know who that Negro is. But where's sexy Rich right now? It's your personality. Where does it exist when you're not using it? Don't. Well, let's guess. Where would you say?
Shit, I have no idea. That's a hell of a...
I'm talking about it all day. The astral world.
In the astral, wow.
Sex Rich is a spirit. You use them every time you pull them out, every time you get in bed with your girl. I'm here, baby. See my shoulders?
Yeah.
He exists there. You call him anytime you need him. But when you at work, you're not using him. Or mad Rich, or picnic Rich, or over happy Rich, or laughing Rich. They're all up there. Sexy Rich or sexy Shirley, we do it all the time as guys. That's why girls feel it more. As soon as we see them, We start looking at her lips. You know what we think.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at that ass. You know what we think. But we'll be, oh, yes, Shirley. I have the papers. Well, goodness, they're right here. Oh, Shirley, you're such a loot. Damn, boy. The way that shit, when she walking off.
Mm-hmm.
So we visualize, which is magic, all the sexual energy we're sending her way. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
The little that they see is only what they're able to pick up on. If they were able to see everything, the motherfuckers would have a nervous breakdown.
Mm.
You know how many, especially if they got it going on.
Yeah.
So what I found is in the astral world, you can connect with anybody's sex.
Mm.
You're not using it. And that aspect of their personality lives for one thing only: the fuck. That's what it was born for. Sexual doesn't show up at the pool or at your kid's school. It shows up in very limited places.
Mm-hmm.
And it only does one thing. So if you access it in the astral world, it only does one thing. Now, the moral aspect of it. It's not your humanity. And most people put their spirit, soul, and body under the ego or under their humanity. Oh, he's touching my soul. Yeah, it's not ever happened. Or it just hit me down in my soul. That's
right.
not happening.
Right.
And you could feel it in your spirit, perhaps, but you're getting with an avatar, an empty avatar that you wear like a suit when you need it, but it's you because it's your technique. But you may find other techniques in your life, and that becomes you. It's not you. So the girl who noticed it is because the nigga's probably home masturbating to her, like we always do. Guys visualize girls. When we even watch porn, we look for a girl that looks like somebody we know that we can't have sex with, but we can visualize and see her on the screen. And then it's a deeper, more realistic orgasm. Trust me, that's how you make connections. In fact, that's all the technique I did for astral traveling. I would tell the chicks, y'all, I'm gonna come and we're gonna do this. But you can meet anybody without them knowing, because you're meeting with your spirit is meeting up with their spirit. It's not a moral thing. It's not. It's not like you could give them STDs or you're taking their virtue. We do it all the time anyway. So it's nothing dangerous. We think of everyone we see, especially guys, every girl we see, as what type of sexual object they could be or what sexual object they are not. We call it a spank bank. I'm gonna put her in my spank bank. That's what white people call it. Which means she'll come up in my thoughts when I'm self-loving. And when you're in that high state of sexuality, especially if you done did some work up here, opening the pineal, understanding the concepts on astral travel and lucid dreaming, opening up your psychic centers through cyclomancy and so on and such, if you understand that concept, you're going to make realer connections. So it's not really violating the person's virtue. You get what I'm saying? Because they're, like I said, they're funneling it through their social upbringing. This is a total, and understand, in the spirit world, sex is just how you say hello. When I first got with Tammy Terrell, you always heard her story as a youngster. It was sad. She died after Marvin Gaye. They finally put some sort of album together with her. It wasn't great because, they had to piece it together. But I got it and went through it. I was trying to get with Tammy. She came with her panties off. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what you doing? And you could feel that that's how they come. Like when Phyllis Hyman came. She was the first one I said, they're coming to me, but I'm going to try to get with her. So I just kept looking at all her pictures online, listening to her music all day. I was still working IT. Went home, took a sip of something, put on OM. The first thing she told me some graphic shit. I'm not even gonna repeat it, but it was nice. It was some real shit. She authenticated herself and she started telling me some old shit. She's telling me some shit. Might have shared it. And if you tall and a woman, y'all need to fuck with Phyllis Hyman. She's like your patron saint. Sophia, same, is a great mother figure. But all that incubus and succubus bullshit is made up European crap.
Oh, so that's bullshit. Incubus and succubus. That's
It's really you. Everything is you. See, think about it for a second. You gotta have one premise here. So is incubus and succubus outside somewhere, ready to attack? Where do they come from? Who made them? Is it God? Is it the devil? The demiurge? See, when you follow the thought pattern, it starts getting thinner. But if you just read the history, is what white people said they didn't understand. So when them succubuses come, shit, nigga, I'll wear a succubus ass. Lay succubuses out, nigga.
Oh shit!
Said, nigga, I give up, nigga. I said, nigga, I don't try it. I learned how to keep my seed.
Oh
in
shit!
your sperm, there's something called what is it? The light that gets impregnated, solar phallic something. But it's if you look at sperm, there's a light around each cell. The light is what gets the person pregnant. Solar phallic energy. So people think because they so physical, you're supposed to be holding your sperm and bringing your sperm back up. No, your nuts will make liquid all day. It's a factory for it. But the light, if you just shoot and don't know how to, the light is what you bring back to the top. The solar phallic energy. You can lose seeds all day. I did that. None of my queens ever got pregnant. None of that shit. When I was human, they was getting that way. I stopped. I said, and it's hard because you don't know if you really doing it right. But it's a level where I just knew it. So I had a steady girl, and it went. I know I got that shit when I had a female orgasm. That's, I promise you, that shit is not a I don't know how them chicks do it. The shit from a woman, from a guy, we feel the build up in the genitals, then there's a release. My nigga, you could feel the orgasm coming down, nigga. That shit hit, nigga. Oh, don't touch me. You know what I'm saying? Leave me alone. Hold me. You know what I'm saying? I said, fuck all of that. Fuck all of that shit. I don't want none of that shit. I just want a nut regular. But I knew how to internalize it. I knew how the light was being internalized. Never lost energy, never lost a step, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah.
So what about, we talk about family. We got about, I'm going to say about 30 minutes left. I want to thank everybody. We got over 2,000 people in the room. We hit the 2-hour mark. We got about a half an hour left. I got to finish cleaning up this basement because this cleanup shit was real.
Oh, man, I can imagine that. Do you have any electronics down there?
Thank God I got a lot of equipment down here. Thank God none of it got messed up. Ooh, I was able to catch it.
Studio.
My girl reminded me. Matter of fact, I got a black magic. Let me show you this bag real quick.
Yes, sir.
Show you this. Shit, I see a mosquito in here right now. Damn. This book bag right here, right? So I got the black magic camera in here, and it was on the floor in the water.
In the water?
In the water, yeah.
Tell me the bag saved it.
Yeah, the bag saved it. What saved it? My girl seen it. I didn't see this shit.
Right.
But my girl seen it. Let me just show you, because I didn't even look at. I didn't even look at it yet. So let me. Oh, this shit is a little. No, I'm good. You see this? I I had this, and I didn't even look at it yet, so I'm looking at it now. But everything is good though. But yeah, everything, you know, I pretty much got everything up in time, so I'm happy for that, my brother. I'm happy for that.
Excellent. That's good. I'm glad I'm glad nothing happened. Big time. You know, like on Earth, it's the shit happens place, and really, you're fighting for those moments, like how your camera got saved. That's why you line yourself up with certain energies and hope, but then you don't want to get discouraged. Let's say if something did happen to the camera, neither, because one of the first readings I got was an EFI reading. I wasn't into a cult. I was heavy into metaphysics and reading. I had a Risha girlfriend. I didn't know about it at the time, and this was before Bobby Hemmett. So when Bobby Hemmett came in, he came in talking about how the Orishas got corrupt. I was like, nigga, I am on that page. I just came out of an Orisha house, and that was by design. And stock staring nuts in terms of how religified they got. And that's because they never left religion. You know what I'm saying? They just switched the names. And, you know, you actually have to do work on your subconscious mind to free yourself from that. That's why when we hear things like God is doing this and God is doing that, we still believe that. Even though we consciously know there's no guy in the sky going, oh, my children. But we subconsciously were trained that it's outside of you. So that's why we say incubus and succubus, which is a European myth. They're easy to say. Europeans, they made up that bullshit about Halloween because it's really about the ancestors. But then, oh shit, incubus and succubus is coming. They made up that bullshit about Halloween and incubus and succubus. Read the goddamn script. It's from them. We wasn't talking about that. You can have something draining your ass, and doing all of that can happen. But remember, there's malevolent energies out there too. And that's why the African spiritual system, they had something to protect them from being human. That's why they made them dress and separate and not do this and rites of passage. And it's so orchestrated because the more you go crazy in human thought, the more you pull down, the more you actually create thought forms that give you this bullshit. All of this bullshit that's happening to us is because of us. Remember, never forget, the elders taught us that Egypt was in decline when they started writing. So if they were in decline back then, what the fuck do you think was happening later? Even all that shit we look up to in cultures had to be in decline up until you have what we have now today. It's good we're at the grand rising, and Rich and I witnessed on this planet, probably many others, but on this planet, the birth of that shit really. You understand what I'm saying? And that led to a big grand rising. I would never thought we would have 2,000 people in the chat room. There's niggas who would lecture to 15 people and be like, today was a good day.
It was a great lecture, right.
Great lecture. 15 people sitting there. So, you know, not everybody gets it. I got to be honest, but they're at the starting gate. And remember, the starting gate is just to be called conscious. There's no conscious community. Conscious is just a description that brings you here. Knowledge of self is what you are. And to have knowledge of self, it's by its very nature is to up your character. Because to have knowledge of self, you're talking about the pristine you. So if you don't see anyone's character improving that chooses to stand in front of you and should be standing in front of you with honor, if you don't see their character improving, how could they be doing the correct work?
Indeed.
If you see their humanity improving, that's telltale. And you should run away or stay around to be entertained, but don't expect to learn.
Indeed. Let's I want to take about 2 or 3 questions from the people before we get out of here, because I see y'all been asking stuff the whole night, but it wasn't that time. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to ask the brother on live a couple of questions. We're gonna take about 2 or 3 questions before we get out of here. And before we do that, Panic, what's your cash app, my brother? What's your cash app? So they can support.
Brother Pan. $, BROTHERPAN, Brother Pan.
All right.
Cash App, $, me boys and girls. Keep the lights on in here.
Yeah, hit up my brother Panic. Make sure you show support. You know what I'm saying? This brother brings some amazing occult information, and I'm very grateful for this interview. Let's see if we got any.
Let me say, I'm grateful to be here too, Rich. I always look. You're the only one. It's the confidence, man. It's the confidence. I love to just be around the confidence, and I'm glad for that. I am glad to be here, bro.
So somebody panicked. Somebody said, "How to hold the light from the seed." When shit, wrong.
Oh, from the sexual thing.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna front, my nigga. I kind of, it's no one method, and I have a lot. I always give methods. I didn't do anything. I first started reading the Montauk Chia. Oh, I did do something from cyclomancy. I forgot. Okay. There's a technique in cyclomancy, almost like Montauk Chia. Like all this shit is in 2008, 2007. I gotta remember. Montauk Chia tells you to sit on the edge of a chair, and with your PC, your PC muscles, you know, the shit that you stop your urine, to pull up. And what you're really doing is starting to get the muscles to get sperm to go back this way. But in cyclomancy, you don't have your nuts off the edge. They tell you to do this shit, nigga, and this shit worked. All I did was this. You visualize energy in your testicles, which it is your life force is there, right? And it has the connection, as Brother Phil said last Wednesday. Your spinal fluid is not connected to your blood; it's connected to your mind and your nuts. It's a straight pathway. So you visualize energy going to your medulla oblongata. You breathe it up. You're storing energy, and when you open up your eyes, because remember, your eyes are connected to the back of your head, you can shoot out energy. So you got to make your intention here, right? So this is what's in cyclomancy so far. I used to get on the train. I'm gonna answer this question. I used to get on the train, just open the eyes slow. You literally would shoot your shit out. It would literally burn. That's also called the evil eye. I said, "Oh, this is the evil eye." You can literally feel you can't hold your shit if you do it right, but you're shooting your vision over the her. And it was crazy. I was just watching American Psycho. Everyone watched it for the 3rd season because they did the Marie Laveau thing, and Angela Bassett played it. That was that show. So I'm on the 3rd season watching it for real this time. And she's training a witch, another white witch training another white witch. She said, what you got to do is imagine and visualize him happier in the middle of the street and watch him do it. Now, they did the dramatic thing. She did it. He walked in the middle of the street. But the technique is sound. Remember, again, there's a movie called The Master. The same dude directed Boogie Nights. But the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, is in it. People find it from that. It was on cable at one point, so you might be able to still get it free. Now, so with that being said, it shows you a lot of techniques in this book. I used to be on the train after work, Rich getting off. So I would visualize the woman across from me, nipples getting hard. Let me tell you, the first thing he says in this book is you need a buzzword or a trigger word that makes you happy. He said he fucked with Clark Gable, you know, old ass nigga. He fucked with Clark Gable. Clark Gable was on that dark side shit. And he said Sammy too. He said Clark's was steak. He said when you think of something like steak, you start flooding with alkaline, and alkaline's more electric and psychic. So that's the first thing you do. You think of your thing, your word. You know what mine was? Titties. Boom. And the first thing I started practicing was seeing if I could get an image of what kind of nipples women had. Now, why so nasty? Because for guys, probably women too, they just don't admit it because they were trained not to. But if there's no consequences, they go to the club and sit on all the dicks they could for a cup of Hennessy. If no one said you're pregnant, VD, you're nasty, you're a whore. If that didn't exist, cause we damn sure would doggy style every woman sitting at the bar while we drink our one cup of Hennessy. So why deny them that? You know what I'm saying? So all right, now so titties was mine. And I first started trying to see if I could pick up the kind of nipple. Big areolas, the ones with all the bumps on the areolas, the one with hair. The titties was, flopping, looking like eyes in the nose near the near the navel. Titties are a smorgasbord of colors, sizes, shapes. It's like Willy Wonka of titties. Willy Wonka. So now, I even if you're totally off point, even if you said, "See, nigga, oh damn, I had this all wrong, but I'm still gonna suck it." You know what I'm saying? Your effort is the key. There's another thing he'll say: look at a spot on the wall, close your eye, turn around, do a spin, close your eyes, and try to walk to the wall, see if you can touch the spot. Then do it from further away. See how far you get. It's not about touching the spot. It's about doing this shit. So it's exercises. What you're doing, you got to understand that psychic powers, your those centers are sleeping in you. So they don't just wake up because you read a book. You have to exercise again. Just like if you got out of a coma, they've atrophied. You have to work your legs. You know what I'm saying? Your muscle mass is down. So this shit has to be worked. These are techniques in working it. So then I would started the shooting of the image. And I would shoot the image where I wanted their nipples to grow, or I wanted them to fall asleep on the train, or I wanted them to fall asleep and open their legs so I could see what color their panties were. Why the sex? Yet again, for a guy, it's everything you think of all day. You won't lose focus. Now, there's plenty of things I've done that went just beyond sex, but when you're trying to get into some astral traveling, I was going to see all the chicks I could call and muster. So that the Hasidic Jews, which their communities in New York, as you know, they get on the train, nothing but itch attacks. I knew how, for some reason, I knew how to make them itch. I would close the eyes, see them itching, and just open it slowly. Like you scry, you don't look straight at them. Like even doing that, I'm looking at this picture, like I could feel the energy leaving. It's pushing me back. It's incredible. But you gotta just PC muscle, but you're shooting it up with a breath. It's like you're pulling it up from your nuts. You're not pulling the thing. The more I did that, the more I think that tapped into that sexual energy. That was bringing the light up. Not really having physically my nuts off the bed and me doing the PC exercise. I was just shooting and visualizing the energy coming up. And that, I think, started the process. I can't bet on that, nigga. You test the water right, son. Because you might be like, Panic got me fucked up right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's big dog shit. But so far, so good. I'll tell you that much. I lost your sound, Rich. Your mic is muted.
Yeah, my fault. Even when you were in the street, Panic, and I might have mentioned this to you before, when you're a lot of times when you're thinking about somebody, or say somebody's thinking about me or staring at me, I automatically turn around and spot them right away. So I catch them staring at me. So it's like before something in me realized that they were staring at me, like they
did it, man.
Like they was hitting me with some type of like beam or some shit.
Right,
And
literally feel the eyes are a two-way street. You always think the eyes are receiving, but then you heard there's something called the evil eye that you can give off. But I'm sure there's books that you could, but I knew I found it. But yes, that's exactly it. You could pick up on the energy through the eyes. You know what I'm saying? So now he's showing you just yet another way to energize the eyes to send a message through. This book is fucking bad, yo. I'm telling you, it's fucking bad. He shows your ass, and if you could get anything by Frank Rudolph Young, that's the author. There's some of his work floating around. It's all old shit. It's all about psychic powers, visualization, and how to strengthen yourself. You will become a one-man army out of this shit. And then if you also add the astral traveling, forget about it. That's the receiving end. Once you keep fucking with that, it's exercise. Don't give up. Don't think it's about success. I was at Rich's house. Keep trying. People give up. They don't have faith in themselves. And then there's this little voice calling Rich that says, God is outside of you. It ain't in you, son. And then, and that voice is in you because you grew up in the church and that's all they told you. You didn't go through any rigorous training to unwind that shit. All you went was with new information and said, oh, Oshun, well, I guess she's God. And she's outside me. So I got to ask Oshun to give me something. Oh, I was doing this for Oshun to give me. Oh, Oshun allowed me to braid her hair in a dream. How many times you heard that shit? I'm like, that bitch hair that nappy? I was saying shit like, I had twosomes with Yim and Ya and Oshun. All that shit is real. Oh! And I'm sitting there like, they're not people. And your mom's had sex. If you, what the trick was, and what Bobby did was the first trick was trying to show you that you're peer to peer with them. Yo, I talk to the gods and I curse them out and I argue with them. He's trying to psychologically show you that you're peer to peer with them. But he's telling you as their personalities outside because that's all niggas knew. So I was fortunate coming after Bobby to be able to speak more on their inside of your ass, their energy signature,